Hey YouTube, this is a video with alternative safety advice for cycling, particularly in built-up urban areas. This is things you probably haven't heard of before, tips or recommendations just to consider. You already know the basics, you already know that your bike should be working well, you've given it a service, the brakes are working, you're wearing a helmet, an luminous jacket, you obey the rules of the road, you don't cycle too fast and so on. These are tips on top of that which may help keep you safe and also protect your bike. So the first thing to double check, if you're taking the same route every day to work, to your kids' school, you may be going down the main roads that are the busiest, with the most people, the most cars, just because you know that route. Have a look at the route on an online map and see if there are parallel roads, because these may be much quieter, they may be residential, but with far fewer cars or people. So you'd not only get to work or the school quicker, but it would be a much safer ride with no cars or much fewer cars. So it's one thing to double check. Next, check that your brake levers connect to the appropriate brakes. So typically the right brake lever connects to the rear brake, and that's because most people are right-handed. So if you remember it, R and R. And if something pulls in front of you or you need to stop suddenly, if you're right-handed, you will close your right hand a couple of milliseconds faster than your left, but that will connect to the rear brake. If it was vice versa and you were closing the left brake lever first, which connects to the front, you could have too much momentum and go over the front of your handlebars. So just check that they're connected as you think they're connected, and if whether you're right or left-handed, it's which way works best for you. Third, this one is unfortunately I know from experience, have a plan for when you get in an accident. I've been riding 2, 4, 6 times a day, every day for the last 10 years in Brussels, and I've had a few accidents, and when you have the accident you go into shock. You kind of don't know exactly what steps to take first, because you're shocked that someone's just hit you, etc. So what I've found is the first thing you need to do is get off the road. If you're on the road, it's going to be busy, there's other cars, motorcycles, etc. Get yourself off the road, try and take your bike off the road. Step 2, check that you're okay and you're not hurt. Step 3, this is the important one, take out your phone and if possible, try and make a video. Without sticking it in anyone's face, try and make a video capturing the registration plate of a car that's been involved or a motorbike, and also the side of the car, lorry, truck, if it has some sort of special branding, if it comes from a company. You may think at that moment you're okay, you're not injured, but you may have injuries later on and you would need to contact that person for maybe insurance reasons. Also, your bike may have damage that you can't see straight away, but at a later date you may think, hold on, this, they should pay for my bike to be repaired, as this was their fault. That's why if you take a video, you can find the details of the lorry, truck, taxi company, etc. and get in touch with them. My next tip is what to do if someone opens a car door. How do you have a plan in place? I have a plan because this has unfortunately happened to me about 5 times, where I've been cycling along a single lane road and a car door has swung out. And through having this happen about 5 or 6 times now, I found a kind of best way to handle the situation through trial and error. Basically, if the car door flips open in front of you, you know that you're not going to be able to get out the way. You can try and get out the way, but if you suddenly pull and try and swerve out the way, there's 2 things that could happen. You could swerve into an oncoming car that will then crush you, and it would be much worse than hitting the car door itself. So if you swerve, you're probably going to get hurt more because there may be an oncoming car coming. Also, there may be a car trying to overtake you at the same time. Motorists are very restless. They are desperate to get to work or to get to their school, and when they see a cyclist, often their first instinct is to accelerate and overtake them. Now if you suddenly, because a car door swung open, also swerve to the left as they're overtaking, again they're going to crush you, or they're going to hit an oncoming car and it's going to be mayhem. So what I found is the best thing to do when a car door opens, if you're not 100% sure that you can swing out of the way, aim for the middle of the door. that part takes the most pressure. So just line up. Obviously you need to brake with your rear brake first, a split second before the other brake, so you don't go over the handlebars. You're braking, but don't swerve onto the other side of the road. Aim for the middle of the car door that's opened. Once it's open all the way, just go straight into the middle of it, and the car door will bend back and take a lot of the pressure. You're already decelerating, and then the car door will take the rest of the pressure. Don't try and swerve out the way, and just because if you clip it, you'll go flying off onto the side of the road and get run over, or the sharp edge of the car door will cut your face. Aim for the middle of the door, and then follow the steps I talked about before. Take yourself off the road, take your bike off the road, start your video getting all the details you can from that car involved and any other cars involved in case you need to follow up later. Okay, my final alternative advice. So when I'm cycling, usually I wear a hat, I wear the tinted glasses, and I wear a scarf. And this is, you know, even if it's kind of warm, I'll still have these on for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it protects you against the elements, the wind. If it's an urban area, there'll be bits of stone or gravel, or just little bits in the air that can get in your eye or in your face. So it covers you a little bit. But also what this does is tilts things in your favour a little bit if you get into some sort of altercation. Because as I said before, motorists are very, very stressed. There's more and more cars on the road. The traffic's getting heavier and heavier, and they're getting more and more anxious. So there's more road rage, more anger in motorists. And if you get in some sort of argument or altercation, there's a couple of things they might say. They might say, I've got you on my dash cam and I'm going to put your photo everywhere. I'm going to edit the video to make it look like XYZ, and I'm going to put you on the internet. And you're going to be instantly recognizable if you don't have these layers on. So what that does is it just stops them taking screenshots or using your complete image from their dash cam. The second thing is that often if they're a taxi company or a building company, they may kind of say something. If you've had an exchange of words or they say you've done something, they may say, I'm going to tell everyone to look out for you today, or I'm going to see you, or my colleague's going to see you tomorrow morning. And they're going to recognize you more easily if you don't have anything on, if they can see the color and the cut of your hair, if they can see your eye color, and so on. Whereas if you have these layers on, as I said, not only does it protect you against the elements, the wind, the rain, the bits, but it stops them recognizing you straight away the next day. So that you know when you've left them that you're not necessarily going to run into them again. They're not going to recognize you straight away. So you don't have that kind of concern staying with you for the rest of the day. Okay, I hope that all made sense. And I know these are very, very alternative bits of advice. They work for me. Hopefully one of them has helped you. If so, please give me a thumbs up. If you're looking at making extra money from secondhand bikes, check out my ebook below. Cheers.